past, fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful laws and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya. And well, after some talking with Nana Shimura and some of the other users, Midoriya, he was convinced to allow All Might in on his own secret. Now, Nana did inform Midoriya that she did have experience with One For All and actually learning a combat style with it. And Midoriya, he did find it to be quite interesting. A combat style with One For All. The way he's been kind of using the quirk, he does try to balance it out with his own. Midoriya, he can increase his own speed and rely on float to at least make sure he's weightless, meaning that he's utilizing the full momentum of his own quirk along with the boost provided by One For All itself. Now, Midoriya, yeah, he did then reveal to All Might everything. Yoshi Shigaraki, his past life, his quirks, and the fact that he can communicate with the users. And All Might, he was completely taken by surprise. Now, we do have 2 days later, where Midoriya, he is sitting in the teacher's lounge, and he's staring at the window to watch as the Quirk apprehension test is going to be starting soon. As you do have with Midoriya, he is sitting there with All Might, along with a few other teachers. Now, Midoriya, he is sitting down, and he's informing all of them of exactly what he thinks is going to happen today. So, All Might will go on stating, asking Midoriya if he really does think that this is the best option they do have. I do. Listen, Midoriya does say, him pointing out that Miss Midnight to, well, his left and in front of him, sitting across from him, she can help him train Black Whip. Along with that, even utilize his own smokescreen abilities. And then, there is also then Midoriya pointing out to Ectoplasm, talking about how he can help him train his danger sense, along with Mr. Aizawa, who can help improve upon it and allow Midoriya to not rely on it. I see. Well, what about Midoriya cutting off All Might? Explain that Gran Torino has helped him unlock and at least master Nana's own quirk. It did take a bit of time, but just focusing on that one gave him a big improvement. Okay, but, and then there's the idea of One For All itself. I still do have trouble with that quirk. However, I already do know how to utilize it throughout my entire body. That part came back to me like instinct. And then there's the fact that, young Midoriya, what is it, All Might? Listen to me. What about a plan for it? Yes, training. And even then, a day off for you. I can't take days off, All Might. Yes, you can. Now, All Might would then actually be caught up by Principal Nezu. Nezu informed Midoriya that the machine recovery girl she has made, or has had made, has been completed this morning. And it's already been tested. Midoriya is going to go see Recovery Girl, and then he will look over the results. Now, Nezu, he is thinking. Midoriya, he's not focusing on himself. And he's ignoring the fact that his life is in danger. So, Nezu, he's going to take it upon himself to save this boy personally, since he's not regarding his own life as of any value to, well, anyone else. Now, Midoriya, he would then listen to Nezu, as he does go to stand up and leave. As the other teachers, they all do talk about how they are going to take it upon themselves to try and train him. Now, Midoriya, he does walk through UA. As he does pass by Class 1A as somebody, they do run past him. And Midoriya, he would see them. Now, the person, after running past Midoriya, they do stop and turn around. Hey, you're that guy. What are you doing here? Oh, it's you. You got in? Yeah, I did. You were right. I just had to calm my nerves. Now, she does hold up a fist, saying that she got into UA and she even got into Class 1A. That's real cool. Now, Midoriya, he does continue to walk off. As he does say, if there's somebody in there named Bakugo, just tell him he said hey. Now, the girl, she is confused. However, she does go to try and ask Midoriya's name as he does continue walking. Wait a minute, why is that guy in UA anyways? He's not wearing a school uniform. Now, Ochako, she is confused. However, she does head inside the classroom and look around, trying to understand which one of these are the Bakugo guy. Now, Midoriya, he would get to Recover Girl's office and head inside as she does begin to prepare the machine and talk to Midoriya. Now, Recover Girl, she does inform Midoriya that because of his complex and strange situation, she's not sure what she can really do, other than use her medical knowledge to at least provide Midoriya answers that aren't concrete. I wasn't asking for concrete answers, I was at least asking for estimates. Well, that is the hard part. Mental deterioration is hard to calculate, and even then it's at least reversible. Really? That's interesting. Yes. Now, she would begin to start fiddling with the controls, as she does scan Midoriya's brain and at least take pictures of it. Now, you do then have where Midoriya, he does go to take off his helmet and sit back up, as he does ask her exactly what has she found. Her telling him that she's going to have to look over these results herself, and then she'll get back to him. Along with that, she might have to send them to some medical colleagues who specialize in the specific subject of brain surgery, or at least brain science. Now, Midoriya, he does accept these answers, as he does go to head out. Now, he would head back to the teacher's lounge and watch the first day unfold. He watches Class 1A's Quirk apprehension test, along with even witnessing whenever Class 1A, they do go through everything else. And Midoriya, he does wonder about what it would be like to be down there with everyone. Now, we do have after the day is over. Midoriya, he has been training in a facility that is at least out of the school building. And he does head over to combat training. Now, Midoriya, he combat trains with ectoplasm. And he does try to develop danger sense to a further degree, along with even his other quirks. Now, along with ectoplasm, Midoriya also does spar off against higher caliber of robots. Now, this does go on, and you do have Midoriya who he would begin to increase in strength. Now, we do have where the first day is over, and Midoriya, he is very sweaty. As he does go to leave UA, you do actually have Principal Nezu who does inform Midoriya that because of his strange and peculiar condition, they would rather keep him on campus and make sure he's going to be fine. Principal Nezu. Yes, Suzuku? I appreciate your concerns. However, Midoriya trying to explain that he does have a home he has to return to. And Nezu he would inform Midoriya that housing has already been taken care of. Along with that, the facilities Midoriya will be given, they are well above what they believe he would be accustomed to. Now, Midoriya he does think about it for a minute. And he does think. He'll have enough time to train if he does stay here. He won't have to waste at least, the time it would take to commute here using the Quirk or even just walking here, which does take a lot longer. Now, Midoriya he would accept these terms, as he does head to his new home. Now, Midoriya he would shower and change into a set of clothes that have been set out for him, as he does at least begin to start charging up one for all. Now, Midoriya he does do this, training with this Quirk and at least trying to learn more about the other ones in his spare time. Now, he believes that he's getting the hang of Danger Sense, that intense and strange feeling that he's been trying to at least train and learn to control for the last 3 months. It is at least a lot better than before. Now, Deku, he is thinking. With the way his quirks are, he only really has 3 that are considered to be offensive. So, there's his fire quirk, which Midoriya he does at least have mastery over, if you do want to consider the fact that he does at least know the most about it. Now, there is one for all, which Midoriya over the course of, his training with UA, he's at least able to physically push himself to 20%. Now, this was quite the achievement. And All Might, he was pretty impressed. Now, we do then have where Midoriya, he at least is able to start using Black Whip without his emotions running amok. Gran Torino, he had to teach him that, and it was pretty bad for the first 2 months. However, Midoriya, after, a lot of things, he's been able to at least gain more and more mastery over it, along with Float. So the Smokescreen quirk, that was very easy. And then there is this quirk Midoriya he does want to begin using. However, the user is still not allowing Midoriya to access it. Now, we do have the next morning, or the morning where UA is having the heroes versus villains. And Midoriya, he does wake up early, as he does head out for a run and then go to meet up at UA with, let's just say, All Might. Now, All Might, he would have talked to Midoriya and informed him that because of, classes today for combat training, he will not be available. Midoriya instead being stuck with, as I'll say, not Power Loader, because he's a support class hero, I think. I don't know what his quirk is actually. Let's say Midoriya he gets stuck with Aizawa, Ectoplasm, and Midnight. Now, Midoriya, he was very surprised by this, as we do then have later, after, they've already gone to a city or another place similar to Ground Zero. And we do have the combat training. Midoriya he's currently floating up in the air as he's facing off against these 3 pros. Aizawa specified to Midoriya that he will not be using his Eraser quirk, unless Midoriya he does use a certain quirk he does not want him to. Now, Aizawa wants to test Midoriya's reflex, and Midoriya relying on Danger Sense all the time, it could be a very bad thing. Now, Midoriya, as far as he knows, does not have a quirk to increase his reaction speed. But that doesn't mean that he's still not fast enough to react. So, you do have where Midnight, she's using her quirk, and it's spreading throughout the entire area. As you do have where Midoriya, he doesn't have a robot begin to start charging forwards through the smoke. Midoriya bring up his hand and actually going to rocket out Black Whip. Black Whip flying through the air and punching through the robot. As it does go to try and wrap up Miss Midnight. Now, this is where Ectoplasm, he does just directly jump in front of Midnight and his clone does get wrapped up. Midoriya, thinking he has it, is just going to fly up into the air and begin to start using his fire-based quirk. Now, this is very interesting. Midoriya, he begins to try and use his quirk to do one simple thing. He's trying to use it to clear the area of smoke by burning it out. Now, that doesn't work very well. And you do have where Midoriya, he does begin to start looking around. As you do have Ectoplasm, who does begin to start sneaking up behind Midoriya with his clones. Now, all of a sudden Midoriya, he does feel his quirks begin to start deactivating. As he does begin to start spinning around backwards and going to guess where the attack came from. Now, Midoriya, he gets into an intense battle. As you do have where then Midoriya, he's on the ground and he is waiting. As he does charge up one for all to 20%. And you do then have where he's surrounded on one side by Midnight's quirk, and the other side by Ectoplasm. As Midoriya, he does go to do one simple thing. He does send out his hand about at 40%, double what Midoriya should be able to use, directly to his left, and he does fling it in a way that does send Ectoplasm and his clones flying away. As we do have in the combat portion of, well, Ground Zero, where that large shake was felt. Now, a lot of people were commenting about how that was an earthquake. And All Might, he was pretty surprised by that. As you didn't have Midoriya, he does go to bring up his other hand and throw it in the same way. Now, after Midoriya he does do that, he would fall to the ground as Midnight shoots sent flying away. And a clone of Ectoplasm, he does catch her and protect her from getting seriously damaged or hurt. Now, we do then have Midoriya, he does actually go to fall onto his knees, as his arms are hurting a lot. And he does go back to stand up. Now, Aizawa, he does inform Midoriya that he pushed himself very far, didn't he? Throwing out all of his power like that. Now, Midoriya, he does just sit there, as he does just let his arms stay limp. That wasn't all of it. That was just as strong as All Might, wasn't it? No, I don't think so. In fact, if I had to guess, that's about half. Half? Yeah, half of my full power? Or, well, I don't know, maybe 50%? Now, this is quite intriguing, as you do actually have Yochu does pop up. Midoriya turning his head away from the heroes as they do see the scene in front of them. Really? Only that much? All of them looking at each other as you do actually have Aizawa who does go to look at his watch. Seriously? So I have that much potential for growth? Okay, I understand that part, but... Okay, I know I shouldn't have done that, but I've never tested the full power either. Shut up. Sorry about that. You done? Yeah, sorry, I was told I only used about 40%. 40%? Yeah. Is that a bad thing? Now, all the teachers are quite shocked. That was 40%. Midoriya, he just shook the city, and that was only 40% of his true power. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. Now, we do then have for Midoriya, he does then leave, and All Might, he would meet up with him later today. As Midoriya, he is sitting down in the teacher's lounge and he is enjoying some lunch. As Principal Nezu is currently talking with him and asking about what happened with his brain scans. Not very much. Recovery Girl hasn't told me any information about them. Along with that, there's the fact that I don't really know too much. Interesting. It would appear that subject she might be keeping away from you. Really? Yes, however, she does have her own particular way of doing things. So this isn't really a bad thing. If it was, she would tell you and address it immediately. Okay, that at least makes me feel somewhat comfortable. But how has your combat training been going? I heard earlier today it was quite intense. You're quite the powerhouse, young man. Thank you. Then again, I'm not really a young man. Oh, of course, I'm sorry. It's fine. Now, but the way he would explain to Nezu, his training is good. However, he doesn't feel like it would be enough to defeat Seiso. I see. Well, I did have my own particular ideas and thoughts that could be put into this, especially since you're very serious about that. Yeah, I've even had a particular thing myself. And what would that be? Now, Midoriya he does look to his left, as he's looking at the flaming, thing that does take All Might's place. And it does simply just lean forwards and tap its finger on the table. And Midoriya he does look down. He's tried speaking to this thing before, and many times it really hasn't said a single word. It must be because All Might is still alive. Now, Nezu he does look at Midoriya, asking which one is he talking to. None. In fact, I'm speaking to the thing that looks like All Might. Really? There's one of those in there. Now, Midoriya he would say, not really. What do you mean? All the past users are all dead. That's why their appearances appear in the Quirk. All Might is still alive. This thing looks like a giant creature of flames to me. And in his image. So, yeah. It's been trying to tell me something, but I can't exactly understand it. Really now? What is it doing? Midoriya, watching as it is, just sitting directly next to Nezu, as it's still tapping its hand on the table. Midoriya looking down at that, telling Nezu that it's tapping its finger. Really? No. Nezu, he does, then hear what Midoriya does say next. He's tapping it slowly and then fast. That's peculiar. Then again, that's not really... Hold on a minute. Now, Nezu, he does begin to think, as he does tell Midoriya to tell him which one it's doing now. Now, Midoriya, he does inform Nezu about what it's doing. As Nezu, he does begin to start writing something down on a piece of paper. Now, Midoriya, he does then tell Nezu that it's repeating the process again. Now, Nezu, he does look down at what the paper does say, as he does then turn it around to Midoriya. Now, it has a lot of spelling errors in it. However, Midoriya, he can at least make out what this does mean. It starts with a D, and then the next word starts with an S. And both words, they do both end in the same letter. D. Now, after Nezu he does pick this apart and spell it correctly, you do have for Melissa, I just fucking gave it away. Midoriya, he does say that says David's shield. And Midoriya, he does wonder how he could help them. Now, Nezu, he would inform Midoriya. David's shield is a very wealthy and, well, good man. Midoriya then remarking on how he was All Might's sidekick at one point in time. However, the two, they did split up after certain differences. Now, you do, however, Midoriya, he does also think back. Sir Night-Eye, he could be a powerful ally as well. Now, Midoriya, he's thinking about everything, trying to cover all of his bases. Sir Night-Eye and his ability to see the future. If he can get his hands on Sir Night-Eye and his help, this can exchange everything. Now, you do, however, Nezu, he does watch Midoriya as he is muttering to himself, as he's confused as to what's happening. Is he stuck in a group chat or something like that? Now, Nezu, he would inform Midoriya that he'll begin to at least make some calls, and look around to see if he can at least get Midoriya to talk to David. Now, Midoriya, he does ask Nezu if David's shield knows about One for All. And Nezu, he does stop. He doesn't know the answer to this. However, he would have to assume no, since All Might, he hasn't spoken to this man in years. And, at most, David, he might know about All Might's injury. Him turning around and saying that the secret was supposed to be kept, was it not? That's true, yes, but I've told everyone I've met. What do you mean by that? My secret. Ah, very well. I will call Toshi, or Toshinori. Good. Along with that, I would like to talk to Sir Night-Eye. Now, this is where Nezu, he does freeze. Young Midoriya, you would need to speak to Toshinori about that. Alright. Now, Nezu, he would leave. As Midoriya, he does go to call All Might. Now, All Might, he's currently walking back to the teacher's lounge, where Nezu, he does encounter him. All Might's phone ringing as he does round a corner and he does buff down. Now, as it does happen, Nezu, he does pull All Might aside and explain what's going on. As All Might, he does burst into the room about a couple minutes later. I tried calling you. Ah, young Midoriya, listen to me. There's a very complicated thing going on. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.